I need to build some crazy farms in my hardcore world for all the huge projects I want to do, so I planned 11 different farms starting from the easiest and working up to the hardest and most useful farms that give me the best items in the entire game, so I can figure out which farm will be the most overpowered. And we'll be starting with... Oh my gosh, I just built the wrong one. And now farm number 1 is complete. With this villager breeder, we can get as much free unpaid labor as we want, since I'm going to need a ton of villagers for a couple other farms later in the video. With our free labor farm done, I need to make 2 other farms to secure my food production and make the best food in the entire game, golden carrots. And to make those, I need, well, gold and carrots. And I want to tackle the harder farm first, which means heading to the nether and collecting a couple more resources for the next farm. Now that we have everything we need to make this gold farm, we need to find a way onto the nether roof. So if I just throw this ender pearl at this block, we'll be able to sneak right up. And after connecting my portal back to my base, I can start working on this farm by building a huge tower that the pigmen will fall down and surround it by a big circle platform made out of magma blocks. Okay, yeah, before I fill this in, I'm going to do the top glass part first because these gas just keep spawning. Once we're done filling in this platform, then we can scratch farm number 2 off the list. Now that we make one of the 2 things we need, it's time to get some carrots. And as you can see, I really only have potatoes, and we all know I'm not going to get carrots every time manually. That's where our villagers from earlier come in. I can force them to get carrots for me forever by holding their family hostage. Anywho, I want to build this one right next to my base so that it will constantly be working. And after collecting all the boring stuff to make this thing, I started building. With the base of the farm complete, I can head over to the breeder and steal some willing people for a life of hard work. I just have to get him into this minecart and up the ramp, and just like that, I have 1 villager in their new home and 4 more to go. Last but not least, the villager for the middle. Now it should be all set up. The villagers on the sides will collect carrots and throw them into the hoppers in the middle. And with our food farms done, we can move on to some harder farms. Which, keep in mind, the farms get harder and harder later on in the video. The next one I'm building is going to be a creeper farm, since I'm going to need a ton of gunpowder for rockets. I'm also going to need 25 stacks of trapdoors, so it looks like it's time to get some trees. 1 down and 5 million more to go. I have all of the trapdoors and mostly everything else except all the cobblestone, but I have a ton of that left over. And I'm going to be building this over an ocean since that will give me the best spawn rates. Starting with the collection area and bottom floor, I then built up 12 layers to the top platform. This farm works by having these dispensers shoot out water and push the creepers into the killing chamber below. And after making the roof, it's time to move on to the second piece of rockets. And that's going to be a sugarcane farm. But not this one. This one sucks. I need to make a lossless flying machine sugarcane farm with a hopper minecart collection system. The good news? I have every single thing I need to make this except the most important part. So I stood in a swamp for an hour waiting for slimes to spawn so I can get slime blocks. A lot of slime. But with all that collected, we have everything we need to build this, and I want to put this one right on top of the creeper farm so I can AFK both of them at the same exact time. Starting with the bottom floor, then just add in some redstone torches and the rails, and last but not least, the minecarts with the collection system. For whatever reason, I have to put in some dirt and water here too, so then I'm ready to build the flying machine that took all those slime balls. Alright, let's just test this real quick. You know what? I'd say that works. After I added all of the sugarcane and a cool little glass border wall, my sugarcane farm was fully working. And after AFKing for 30 minutes, I have a full shulker box of rockets. Which brings us to probably the most used farm in Minecraft. A quad iron using 32 villagers making 5,000 iron every single hour. Everyone has one. And this is the first farm yet where I already have everything to build this, but it's still going to take a long time. I want to build it on this land right here since it's not too far from my base, and since I don't have to flatten it out so much. But I do still have to flatten out this entire square so that way I can build this huge side coming off of it. Now I just have to do this 3 more times. These are where the iron golems will spawn and fall into the lava below. Now here's the hard part, actually getting the villagers from a village over to my iron farm, which I'm going to be using boats for since I can fly with them. And with the villagers here, I just have to get them up into their hole. By pulling them up in their boats, I can get them all one by one into their homes, which means it's now time for the zombies, and I need 4 of them, all name tagged. First one is subscribe, which you should if you haven't already. And then, of course, we have comment, like the video, and, well, Bob. And this is what we have after about 30 minutes of AFK. So let's see where we are so far. We have unlimited food with golden carrots, as many rockets as we need, and all the iron in the world getting made for us. But we're not done, because the farms coming up just get even better. Like this next one, a slime farm. Luckily, I have this swamp biome pretty close to my base, so at least that was easy. And with this farm, I also already have all the materials for it. It was mostly basic stuff, just a lot of it. Except for glow lichen, which I never thought about collecting until now. But with that, I do have to clear out this small area of any of the trees so that way I can dig a hole, fill it with some chests, hoppers, and rails, and cover it all with magma. After putting an iron golem permanently in the middle, this is going to be the collection area where the slimes die and their balls get picked up. Well, where are the slimes gonna spawn? I can see you commenting. I haven't got there yet. I have to build a big platform surrounding the kill chamber with walls all the way around it, and then literally just, well, a roof. Plus a little bit of that lichen from earlier. This is because slimes can spawn with only a little bit of light while keeping other mobs from spawning at the same time. But that's it, just gotta seal up the chamber and make an AFK spot way up there, and our farm is working. This is how many balls I got after 30 minutes of AFK. Our next 2 farms are kind of one farm just split up into 2, and that's gonna be a bone meal and a tree farm since, well, you know, we can't have a tree farm without that bone meal. So that's gonna be the one we do first, which I'm sure by now you know that I have all the materials for this farm too. It's getting a lot easier to get everything for these farms the more of them I build. I'm just gonna find a nice little spot close to my iron farm so that one keeps working while I'm building and using both of these too. The only problem with this one is there's a ton of redstone that goes into it and I don't understand it at all. All I know is you turn the farm on, you get moss that turns into bone meal, so simple enough. Except why in the world am I getting cobblestone that's breaking my whole machine? I had to look through all the redstone piece by piece to find it, and it turns out it was one of the first things I built. I literally just set a repeater off by 1 speed. But with that last thing fixed, the farm is finally actually working, which means I can move right onto the tree farm, which I'm just going to build right next to this one. And I've been looking forward to this one the whole time because chopping trees by hand sucks. But like I said, I'm just going to be building this one right next to the bone meal farm, and it's going to be a little bit bigger, so I have to clear out this area. Then put down the foundation, and this one's going to be a lot more complicated, so hopefully I don't mess it up. Which honestly, looking back at it, this was probably the smoothest build so far. Nothing broke, and since I already had all the materials, it flew by. But here's how it works. You plant a tree, pistons push the logs away, and TNT drops down, breaking the logs into the collection below. Which after using only 1 full chest of bone meal, I got a little over an entire double chest of logs. Hopefully it'll last me a while, because I'm still actually really sad about all those trapdoors I had to get earlier. Which brings us to by far the hardest farm yet. And I need to get a couple of the more weird resources to build this, like pumpkins, which took me forever to find for some reason, snow, which was super easy to find, and 20 stacks of scaffolding. I only have, well, this much. To get the rest, I need 2 things. Bamboo, which is easy enough to get, boom, there we go, and string. When I tell you this string made my life awful, I mean it. I tried to make a string farm, didn't work. Tried to kill spiders, would have taken forever. So I finally settled on just finding a mine shaft and mining all the cobwebs in it for the 4 stacks of string I needed to build all this. Anywho, with that finished, I have everything else I need to build this farm already, but I can't build it here. I have to go to the end, travel through the end gateway, and find a nice nice little area to mine out right besides an end city. You could probably guess what I'm building now. It's gonna be a shulker farm. Building the actual farm was easy enough, just placing down a ton of slabs and all that scaffolding I got earlier with just a little bit of redstone work. And that was the easy part. The hard part, actually moving a shulker into the farm without it either dying or teleporting away. So I had to build this huge bridge with rails so I could finally, after about 2 hours of messing around with this thing, push one into a shulker and have it go all the way over to my farm. But with him in there, all I have to do is put some boats in here and my farm is working. I'd say this could make a couple boxes. Back in the overworld, it's time to work on the best farm I have lined up. It's going to be able to get us the rest of the items we could ever need in this game. And for this, I need to find a structure that I was actually lucky enough to find earlier when I was building the slime farm, which is a witch hut that's super close to my slime farm too. So yeah, obviously it's going to be a witch farm. And it uses just a ton of basic resources, and for really no reason at all, I have to make a copper bulb for it too. Anyways, with everything collected, I just have to make my way over to the witch hut, tear it down, and build the collection pool where the witches are going to fall into. That is going to push them into these towers, sending them all the way up top where I can kill them. I just have to get them to actually spawn first. This works by building these shifting floors with pistons where witches spawn and fall through the floor into the water below. And after setting up the redstone clock and sealing off all the light to the farm, it's working and I'm getting a ton of witches up here. This whole thing was definitely a lot easier since I had the perfect start to my world, and if you want to see how I did that, watch this video next.